evening and welcome to the Diamond News Desk at 8. We bring you stories that are appearing on our Diamond TV Zambia website. You can follow us on Diamond TV online on Facebook as well as Diamond TV Zambia on X. Do stay tuned for the headlines. Your leading stories this evening. Lusaka Business and Technical College lecturers stage protest over unfulfilled salary increments. Investigation into skeletal case lack material evidence. This is according to submissions by the defense in George Calaba's case. And later on, Zambia bids farewell to actress Wanga Zulu. I'll be back with the details. So glad you could join us this evening on the Diamond News Desk at 8 with the details. My name is Tapiwa Ngoma. Our first story this evening, lecturers and members of staff at Lusaka Business and Technical College have staged a 2-day sit-in protest demanding that management honors the collective bargaining agreement, which stipulates a minimum salary of 10,000 kwacha for lecturers. The protesting staff have expressed frustration that despite the agreement, some lecturers are still earning as little as 4,000 kwacha, a situation they say has led to mass resignation over the past 3 years. And Lusaka Business and Technical College Students' Union President Frederick Kangwa says the standoff has disrupted lessons and has urged management and authorities to resolve the matter urgently to resolve normal learning. Meanwhile, the union leadership has informed Diamond News that the situation is now under control and has called on members of staff to resume work.
At Lusaka Business and Technical College, lecturers and members of staff could be seen gathered under a shelter within the school premises, sitting quietly but resolute. Nearby students wandered around the campus uncertain about the day's lessons. Marked by silence and murmurs of frustration, for 2 days, the educators laid down their tools in a sit-in protest, demanding that management honors the collective bargaining agreement, which guarantees a minimum salary of 10,000 kwacha.
Members of staff are doing a sit-in protest, a very peaceful sit-in protest, to protest about the non-implementation of our collective agreement. What was agreed in the collective agreement is totally different from what we are getting as members of staff. Like, for instance, in the collective agreement, we have agreed that a lecturer should be getting something like 10,800 kwacha, but what we are seeing is the lecturers are getting as low as 4,500 and 5,000 kwacha, which is unacceptable. So we appeal maybe to the relevant authorities to come and help us resolve this particular problem at Lusaka Business and Technical College.
They revealed that over the past 3 years, many of their colleagues have resigned, unable to cope with the poor conditions.
For the past 3 years, if you can go backwards 3 years, you'll find that a lot of lecturers have left this institution. They are not going to the mines, they are not going anywhere. They are going to places like Notek, even in Horn, which are sister companies, sister institutions with this one. So there's no need for us to just sit idle when we are losing members of staff. It is not only the members of staff who are suffering, it's also the students, because when you lose lecturers and you have low salaries, to replace lecturers is very difficult. So we have a shortage of lecturers as we speak, because people are not willing to come and work here. The salaries are very low.
The Lusaka Business and Technical College Students' Union President Frederick Kangwa expressed concern that the ongoing standoff had disrupted lessons.
Protest has been going on for at least maybe 2 days, and since then, from the time the protest had started, we've not been learning, so we are deeply affected as students, especially considering the fact that we are remaining with a month and a half for us to start writing our final exams. So it's quite bad for us, and we are not happy with what is going on. We'd like the management to look into the issue, address the challenges that our lecturers are facing so that we can get back to normal learning.
But there is a glimpse of relief. The union leadership has since confirmed that the situation is now under control, urging lecturers to return to work as the Labour Commission steps in to handle the matter with the urgency it deserves. Victoria Kayeye Yambani, Diamond News.
Goods worth thousands of kwacha have been reduced to ashes after a fire swept through Friday's Corner Bar and Restaurant in Mazabuga District, Southern Province. Owner Friday Ngandu says the exact cause of the fire has not yet been established, but suspects it may have started in the restaurant's kitchen, which operates within the same premises. The fire is believed to have broken out around 02 hours on Tuesday. However, the Mazabuga Municipal Council Fire Brigade was only notified 2 hours later when the flames had already engulfed all 4 shops at the premises, including a bar, restaurant, and 2 other businesses.
Workers at Friday's Corner in Mazabuka district of Southern Province were left in shock this morning after fire swept through their workplace. Some employees reportedly fainted due to the trauma of witnessing the incident. Goods worth over 300,000 kwacha were destroyed in the inferno, which gutted about 4 shops including a bar and a restaurant. Friday Ngandu, the owner of the business center, expressed his devastation following the incident.
So according to the report, according to what the security had said, it started from the kitchen, from the restaurant, when it spread through the bar and the shop. Altogether, I think roughly it goes up to 300,000 somewhere there, combined the bar, the restaurant, and the shop. It's a new opened restaurant.
And one of the restaurant workers, who had been employed for less than a week, said she was still in shock after learning about the tragedy.
I've been working here just for a week. Suddenly, we have just found our shop on fire. We don't know what happened. As youths, it's really bad, really sad. We don't know where to start. This is not good. As a community, everyone, this is bad.
Mazabuka Municipal Council Fire Brigade Acting Chief Fire Officer Bruce Nyambe confirmed that the fire team was only informed about the incident nearly after 2 hours.
Since they reported the matter late, so that's why the fire spread almost engulfing about 4 shops, and there were goods worth almost 300,000 damaged in this fire.
He also revealed the suspected cause of the fire.
The cause of fire is suspected to be, there was a power failure last evening around 22, and when the power was restored, it came with the force. And we found that the bus bar in the meter box melted. When the bus bar melted, it means that there was overloading of the circuit from the safe cable. And it followed the line from the meter box to the flares in the main restaurant. And it ignited the flares where there was oil, and the fire started spreading to other shops.
The owner is now appealing to well-wishers for assistance to help rebuild his business. Helga Chibwe, Diamond News, Mazabuka District in Southern Province.
Veteran actress Wanga Zulu, known to many as Amai Guru from the acclaimed Mpali series on Zambezi Magic, has been laid to rest in Lusaka. Miss Wanga passed away in the early hours of Friday, October 10th, 2025, after suffering a stroke. Her husband, Daniel Mutale, remembers her as a God-fearing woman that served her God faithfully. Family, friends, and fans gathered today to celebrate her life, remembering her not only for her powerful performances, but also for the warmth and unwavering faith that defined her off-screen.
It was a somber day for Zambia's arts and entertainment community as one of its most cherished figures, veteran actress Wanga Zulu, known to many as a My Guru from the popular Zambezi Magic TV series Impali, was being put to rest. Zulu passed away in the early hours of Friday, October 10, 2025, after suffering a stroke. She brought life to the screen with her commanding performances, but off-screen she was remembered as a devoted wife, a loving mother, and a woman of deep faith.
But since this is the will of God, I will submit to His will. You loved, served your God faithfully, and always encouraged me when I was down. It is very difficult for me to understand now, because all we planned, we dreamed, today is shattered.
When the Lord remembers you as Wanga Zulu, the actress, My Guru, we will remember you as Wanga Zulu, our mother, the woman who gave us everything, who loved us beyond measure.
Among those who gathered to pay their last respects was fellow actor Monde Mutale, known for his role as Nguzu, who shared the screen with Zulu for years.
Just look at the multitude of friends, the people that loved you, the people that revered to be with you. You were a kind person. You had trust in me. That's why over time, I'm with Impali up today.
And as the entertainment industry mourned, government officials have also recognized their immense contribution. Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Arts reaffirms the government's support for the creative sector.
As we mourn her and many other artists lost in this year, we reaffirm our resolve to improve the welfare of our creatives.
As Wanga Zulu was laid to rest, her legacy lives on in the stories she told, the lives she touched, and the generation of performers she inspired. Mlenga Chpampe Makasa, Diamond News.
Defense Counsel Jonas Matende has submitted that the investigation into the manslaughter offense against Sylvia Mutava, wife of George Calaba, suffered serious shortcomings due to a lack of material evidence and eyewitnesses. 51-year-old Sylvia Mutava is charged with manslaughter in connection with the death of her husband, whose skeletal remains were found in their house in Garden Compound. The arresting officer, Detective Masola Simushi, testified that Sylvia Mutava was present in the same room when her husband died and that she attempted to resuscitate him. He further stated that she revealed during a warn and caution statement that after 3 days, his body began to smell and flies started piling up on his body, a development that scared her. We have more in this report.
Team has closed its case after presenting 9 witnesses in the manslaughter trial of Sylvia Mutava. Mutava is charged with manslaughter following the discovery of the skeletal remains of her husband George Calaba in their house. Calaba allegedly died on November 21, 2023, but his remains were hidden for 2 years. High Court Judge Anna Ononuju is presiding over the matter. The evidence presented in court reveals that Calaba was seen looking ill and weak between August and October 2023, with limited movements restricted to his yard. It is also on record that family members and friends were refused visits to Calaba's house, despite their attempts to see him. According to testimonies presented by witnesses, Emmanuel Calaba reported his brother missing after failing to reach him in person or by phone. A pathologist stated that the post-mortem results were inconclusive due to the absence of flesh remains, making it impossible to determine the cause of death. and a child witness, whom I will call Esther, alleged that she noticed a change in behavior from family members who became unwelcoming and that the house was often locked, with visitors no longer allowed. Friends of George Calaba also testified that they were turned back whenever they tried to visit him. The arresting officer, Detective Masola Simushi, was a final witness. He testified that the accused refused to take her husband to the hospital for treatment, believing that prayers would heal him. This belief continued even after his death. Simushi stated that Sylvia's omission to take her husband to the hospital led to his death, resulting in the manslaughter charge. However, during cross-examination, Defense Counsel Jonas Matende questioned how the arresting officer concluded the charge without scientific evidence. Matende argued that there was no evidence of refusal, as the accused did not refuse to take the deceased to the hospital. She simply prayed for him. He also argued that the investigation suffered from serious shortcomings due to the absence of witnesses. And he put it before the court that the court had not been informed about the deceased's condition or how he died. The prosecution has closed its case, and the court will now determine whether the accused has a case to answer or not. Ruling has been set for November 11th, 2025. Cecilia Kaya-Mporokoso, Damo News, Lusaka.
Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has urged both local and foreign investors to seize Zambia's growing investment opportunities, assuring them that their capital is secure under his administration. Speaking at the 2025 Southern Province Investment Expo in Livingston on Tuesday, President Hichilema has emphasized that his government has created a stable and predictable business environment where investor confidence continues to rise. Mr. Hichilema has also highlighted the southern region's vast potential in sectors such as mining, agriculture, livestock, and tourism, describing it as a hub ready for transformative partnerships. Earlier, Tourism Minister Rodney Sikumba reaffirmed the government's commitment to opening up more tourism sites across the country for private investment.
Zambia's Southern Province ranks third in contributing to the national gross domestic product, following Lusaka and the Copper Belt. In 2025, government and stakeholders have joined forces to showcase the region's vast investment potential, rich natural resources and economic promise. Officiating at the Southern Investment Expo, Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has urged both local and foreign investors to seize the opportunities Zambia offers, assuring them that their investments remain secure.
For all investors that are looking for investment in energy, in this room or outside, I want you to submit your checklist of things that are standing in the way of your investment before you leave the expo. And I want that list. I've already told these ministers that next meeting, we look at the projects that have come through this expo and the things that are stalling the projects, and we will deal with those issues as a priority.
The head of state also addressed ongoing power challenges, emphasizing the need for joint efforts between government and stakeholders to find lasting solutions.
We didn't invest in electricity diversification for 50 years. The drought simply came to teach us a lesson, to wake us up. We must now move quickly and invest. All those that have electricity projects here and the country, can you work overnight? Can you ensure that Mamba Energy, you put lights there to work 24 hours per day to bring forward the completion of those projects?
Meanwhile, sectors such as tourism are equally positioning themselves to attract more investment, while energy players like Mamba and Godi have pledged to help improve the country's electricity supply.
We in the Ministry of Tourism have taken a very bold step as to, first of all, to title the properties. Then we also have to understand what other encumbrances that these properties have so that eventually they become investment ready. If you're going to have an asset which is non-performing, it might as well give it to somebody else as opposed to just holding on to it. So there's a number of sites.
At the moment, we have all the environmental requirements and all environmental approvals. We're expected to commission next year, 2026. with a total investment of about $150 million.
Gabriel Josias Mova, Diamond News, Southern Zambia.
You're watching the Diamond News Desk at 8 with me, Tapiwa Ngoma. We are scheduled to go for a break, but before we experience what can be likened to a brief zephyr, we will be giving you the weather as well as the Diamond Insight. Thereafter, I will be back giving you more stories that are making headlines. But until then, we also have our business update. Do stay tuned for this and more.
This is your Diamond Insight of qualifications of a presidential candidate. A spirited national debate has emerged around who qualifies to run for president in Zambia. Some argue that independent candidates cannot contest, while others raise questions about the so-called parentage clause. These issues go to the heart of our democracy, and they deserve clarity based on the Constitution itself, not speculation. The Constitution of Zambia Amendment Act No. 2 of 2016 is very clear in Article 101, which sets out the qualifications for presidential candidates and states that a person must be a Zambian citizen by birth or descent and at least 35 years old, a registered voter, ordinarily resident in Zambia for at least 20 years, possesses a grade 12 certificate or its equivalent, and have declared assets and liabilities. Importantly, nowhere in this article does the Constitution require that a candidate be sponsored by a political party or that both parents be Zambian. This marks a decisive shift from the 1996 Constitution, which had more restrictive provisions under the Article 34(3)b of the 1996 Constitution, where it clearly stated that a person could only qualify if both their parents were Zambian by birth or descent. In addition, Articles 34d of the 1996 Constitution required that the candidate be a member of or sponsored by a political party. Both these clauses were removed and struck in the 2016 Constitutional Amendment. The striking off of the parentage clause was especially significant. Adopted in 1996, it became one of the most contentious provisions in Zambia's constitutional history, often viewed as a political tool to limit who could aspire to the presidency, especially after indication by former President Kenneth Kaunda that he wanted to contest the presidency in 1996. By 2016, Zambia had matured politically and the law evolved to reflect a broader understanding of citizenship, one that values commitment to country over lineage. Similarly, allowing independent candidates, whether at parliamentary or presidential level, to contest restores the principle that leadership is not monopoly of political parties. The people, not the parties, are the ultimate custodians of sovereign power. Today, the Constitution protects the right of any qualified Zambian, whether party-sponsored or independent, to stand before the electorate and seek a mandate. That right cannot and should not be curtailed by outdated interpretations or political fear, either by political parties, those in power, or indeed by using legal gymnastics. As Zambia moves towards next year's elections, institutions such as the Electoral Commission of Zambia and the Constitutional Court must uphold this inclusive spirit. Our democracy thrives when it reflects the will and diversity of the people, and when no citizen is denied the right to lead based on who their parents were or which party they belong to, or indeed just by being Zambians they want to lead as president, MP, mayor, or councillor as independent. Could the August 2026 elections be a defining moment where Zambia sees its first independent president. The question is yet to be answered at the ballot.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Business News Update. Coming up this evening, low cotton pricing worries Magoya farmer and CCZ urges review of increased CDF allocation. We will also be looking at the performance of the kwacha against the United States dollar. We have our commodity prices that will be coming up for construction items as well as the commodity prices for the food and non-food items. This is what's coming up on the Business News shortly after this. Now, cotton farmers in Magoya constituency in Southern Province have expressed growing concerns over low pricing and poor quality agricultural inputs, which they say is affecting the growth of the cotton subsector. Now, Jordan Zimba lamented that cotton is fetching as low as 8 kwacha per kilogram, a reduction from last year's price of 9 kwacha per kilogram, leaving farmers with no or little profit. He has noted that despite the hard work invested in cotton production, farmers are not receiving the returns they deserve. And Cotton Board of Zambia Director of Technical Regulation, Derek Sichilima, says the poor quality inputs and low pricing from the buyers continue to hinder the growth of the cotton subsector.
Cotton farming is a viable and profitable venture, but for most cotton farmers in Zambia, that does not seem to be the case. Jordan Zimba, a cotton farmer from Magoya village, highlights some of the challenges being faced by the cotton farmers. He expresses his dissatisfaction with the pricing of cotton.
2 seasons ago, they were buying cotton at 15 kwacha per kg. All of a sudden, this season they were buying at 8 kwacha and 6 kwacha respectively. And this has made farmers to lose hope in the growing of cotton. It's also a challenge on our part. So we appeal that with the upcoming of the Mulungushi textiles, we feel that government can come in and maybe in conjunction with Cotton Board of Zambia, maybe they can start regulating prices and they can just be announcing prices as they announce it through the Food Reserve Act.
The Cotton Board of Zambia's Director of Technical Regulation, Derek Sichilima, also points out that pricing and poor quality inputs remain a major challenge.
And this plant can only be supported by the local farmers. And therefore, with the coming in of Zambia China Mulungushi textiles is also a positive act on the part of government in supporting the cotton. And we hope and pray that soon and very soon, most of the farmers that had abandoned cotton production will be able to come back again and start growing production at a large scale, because it will just be something that you cannot avoid to do.
Meanwhile, smart climate agriculture expert Dr. Oliver Kandela Bulaya says the low prices can be attributed to fluctuations in the world market.
Time, if we have local market that can absorb, and the extra absorb the cotton and the extra sold to international markets, I think this could be one area that could cushion the impact that our farmers are going through.
As Zambia continues to promote cotton as one of its key cash crops, farmers are calling for fair pricing and better support to make the industry truly sustainable. Niza Vomo, Diamond News.
More from the Business News Update. The Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ, has urged government to reassess the increased allocation and utilization of the Constituency Development Fund in the 2026 national budget. Now, addressing the press in Lusaka, CCZ Executive Director Bishop Emmanuel Chikoya says, while the council commends government for raising the CDF to 40 million kwacha per constituency, its implementation continues to face misuse and structural challenges that must first be resolved. Bishop Chikoya has further suggested that any excess funds be redirected to other critical social sectors to ensure a broad and more effective national impact. And the Zambia Council of Social Development Chairperson Jacob Makambwe says has also urged the government to revisit its decision on user fees, especially mobile money, that may further strain low-income households.
While government has made allocations across key social and economic sectors in the 2026 national budget, pegged at 253.9 billion kwacha, 27.4% of Zambia's GDP, the Council of Churches in Zambia says the figures must translate into real impact on people's lives. The faith body has offered what it calls a faith-based assessment of the budget, urging government to protect livelihoods, promote transparency, and ensure inclusive growth.
CCZ recognizes steps in the 2026 budget, but stresses that without clearer budget lines, stronger transparency, and delivery mechanisms, the intended benefits will not reach the intended beneficiaries, who are the most vulnerable amongst us.
The CCZ also wants government to release a comprehensive debt sustainability plan and publish an energy sector delivery roadmap, including maintenance and capital budgets to strengthen public trust.
CCZ recommends that increased allocation for the Constituency Development Fund be reassessed, while we commend the government for the increased funding. The implementation of CDF has been associated with misuse and structural challenges which hinder its intended benefits to the community. Increasing the allocation to a fund that is not fully utilized raises concerns, as the primary focus should be on resolving existing bottlenecks. We suggest that the extra funds be reduced and channeled to other vital areas within the social sector to ensure more effective impact.
Meanwhile, Zambia Council for Social Development Chairperson Jacob Makambwe has raised concerns about the proposed cost of mobile money transactions, saying they threaten financial inclusion among low-income groups.
Now, what we are saying is that we do not want to see a situation where people now start abandoning using this particular mobile money transfer, which are very critical in terms of financial inclusion, and those that do not have access to banks, especially in the rural area. So we are saying that must be revisited, because it's not actually going to help in terms of growing, especially the local communities or the local businesses, especially in the rural areas.
These recommendations add to growing calls for fiscal responsibility and transparency as Zambia works to balance social needs with economic recovery. Best Jere, Diamond News.
Let us now take a look at the performance of the kwacha against the United States dollar. Now, from your money markets, this is how the kwacha is faring as of close of business today. It is buying at 22 kwacha 59 ngwe against the United States dollar and selling at exactly 23 ngwe. These are average commercial rates for today, the 14th of October 2025. Coming up shortly, we have the construction commodity prices. Now, from the construction commodity prices, you can be able to purchase this drain pipe that is only going for 557 kwacha 19 ngwe, something that you can utilize within your household. Another item that you can utilize is this hand drill that you can be able to have at only 2,840 kwacha 8 ngwe. Those are your construction commodity prices. Shortly, we also take a look at the commodity prices for food and non-food items. From the commodity prices, food and non-food items, let's start off by taking a look at the food items. For a kg of beef, that's going for 114 kwacha, 2 kg worth of sugar, and between 64 to 70 kwacha, between 35 to 37 kwacha is a kg of sugar, and 2.5 kg worth of flour going for 80 kwacha, 5 kg worth of nakonde rice in between 140 to 180 kwacha, Between 95 to 115 is a tray of eggs. Cooking oil, 2.5 liters worth of it, in between 165 to 180. 5 liters worth of cooking oil going from between 235 kwacha to 300 kwacha. You have a 10 kg bag of breakfast mili meal in between 106 to 139 kwacha. In between 204 to 235 kwacha is a 25 kg bag of breakfast mili meal. You have a 10 kg bag of mili meal, that's for roller, in between 90 to 100 kwacha, and for a 25 kg bag of roller mili meal for between 180 to 195 kwacha. Those are the commodity prices for the food items. Let's take a read now at the non-food items. We start off with 10 rolls of toilet paper going for only 70 kwacha, toothpaste for 175 tube, 175 grams, that is. You can be able to get that for in between 27 to 35 kwacha. A bar of multi-purpose soap in between 35 to 45 kwacha. 500 grams worth of washing powder at exactly 42 kwacha, and in between 115 to 124 kwacha, that's 1.5 kg worth of washing powder. And you have 3.5 kg worth of washing powder in between 254 to 270 kwacha, and a bar of bathing soap at exactly 14 to 40 kwacha, and 750 mils worth of liquid hand washing soap at exactly 35 kwacha. Those are your commodity prices for food and non-food items, brought to you by MySol. For all your solar products, be sure to pay them a visit, and who knows, you just might be able to walk away with something that we utilize. You can be able to utilize, that is, with relation to the energy sector. We take a break. We have more coming up this evening from the News Desk.
You know, there was a time where all of this felt like a dream. Load shedding has turned our lives upside down. Every morning, battling with darkness, preparing the kids for school, it was chaos. Thanks to MySol, I can iron my clothes, blow dry my hair, and have breakfast without a hitch. With MySol, we glide through the day completely uninterrupted. School runs, errands, family time, everything just flows. So why not embrace the best solar solution for the best life? Choose MySol, where every moment counts and every day shines bright.
Join the MySol revolution and power your life with clean, sustainable energy. Call us today on 0961 844428 to find the perfect MySol solar kit for you, your business, and your family. MySol. Best solar, best life.
Business News was brought to you by Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank. Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank, making tomorrow possible.
Hello there. Welcome back to the Diamond News Desk, an entity that is ubiquitous in nature, and we are proud to say stretches beyond borders to bring the world closer to you. What you'll also be pleased to know is that our news selection is in no way fortuitous in nature. What we do is craft our stories for your pleasure, but also for your very much needed information and accuracy. We'll get you with more stories that are making headlines on the news desk, with our next story leading us to where the government of India has donated 500 sewing machines and 100 embroidery machines to the office of the First Lady to support women and youth empowerment initiatives. Indian High Commissioner to Zambia, Alok Ranjan Jha, says the donation was inspired by the First Lady, Mutinta Hijilema's commitment to improving livelihoods across the country. And First Lady Mutinta Hijilema has expressed gratitude to the government and the people of India for the gesture, describing it as a reflection of the strong and enduring friendship between the two nations.
The First Lady of the Republic of Zambia, Mutinta Hijilema, has continued to demonstrate her unwavering commitment to improving the livelihoods of women and youths across the country through empowerment and skills development initiatives. Her passion for uplifting vulnerable communities has inspired hope and created opportunities for many to become self-reliant. In recognition of her efforts, the government of the Republic of India has donated sewing machines to the Office of the First Lady.
I wish to recognize and appreciate the leadership and commitment of the First Lady, Mrs. Mutinta Hichilema, in championing initiatives that touch the lives of ordinary Zambians, particularly women and youth, who stand to benefit directly from today's handover.
The donation, presented by Indian High Commissioner to Zambia, comes as a boost to ongoing empowerment programs aimed at equipping women and young people with practical skills for sustainable living.
I've been here for 8 months, and hardly a week passes when I don't get a news of something where the First Lady is involved, in Lusaka, outside. It is, I can easily say, one follows news around the world, probably one of the busiest first spouses, I should say. And Zambia is blessed to have this couple at the head. As far as this gift is concerned, it's a small gesture of love and affection that we share with the Zambian nation.
During the handover ceremony in Lusaka, the First Lady expressed deep gratitude to the government and people of India for their generosity and continued partnership.
Allow me to convey my sincere gratitude to the government and the Republic of India for this generous donation of sewing machines to the Zambian people. The donation reflects the strength of friendship between Zambia and India and the shared vision we uphold for empowerment and sustainable development. You agree with me that this donation will have a positive impact on the lives of the Zambian people and will add significant progress to the already existing initiatives we have embarked on to support the women and youth in Zambia.
As nations unite to uplift the vulnerable, hope is visible and the dignity of the people restored. Victoria Kayeye Yambani, Diamond News.
We're taking our set of commercials now, very succinct. And when we get back, we have more stories that will be wrapping up our news desk version. Hello there, you're watching the Diamond News Desk at 8 with me, Tapiwa Ngoma. How pukritudinous of you to have stayed with us. Our final story this evening. Farmers in Mansa district have expressed concern over the delayed payment in maize sold to the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, during this year's marketing season. The farmers say they had expected to be paid by last month to allow them to adequately prepare for the next farming season. But that has not yet happened. Traditional leaders have also weighed in, urging the government to address the issue urgently. Chief Mabumba of the Ushi-speaking people has appealed to authorities to expedite the payment process to keep farmers motivated to continue selling their produce to the agency. We have more details in this report.
The Food Reserve Agency FRA set the maize buying price at 6 kwacha 80 ngwe per kilogram, translating to 340 kwacha per 50 kg kilogram bag for the 2025 marketing season, a move that attracted many farmers to sell their produce to the agency. However, months after making their sales, many farmers are yet to receive payment, even as the farming community enters mid-October, the period when preparations for the next planting season usually begin.
July, August, September twalipirira kwa bakasukulu. Nomba twajifira na tuingira mu Nkongole. Elo Nkongole shali shupa. Nomba tukalipira shani.
Elo dena visi punaina na badujisha instead ya kwa chinga batupera kwesha mataba. Twala shita kwa fimo kwa fitwafuisha ko mugudi ni bweso.
The delay has sparked concern among farmers across various chiefdoms who fear that the setback could affect their ability to secure imports and ultimately reduce next year's harvest.
Nomba twashitisha mataba na nomba tawa tupere mpi. Na papita 3 months kwa no tupere mpi. Nomba twala shita shani umufundi.
Meanwhile, Chief Mabumba has expressed concern that continued delays in payments could worsen poverty levels among households that depend on farming for their livelihoods.
Nombanga tabapera endalama bwangu nga basabapera mu December, then there will be no use of that money because inchitama preparations inchinayipita. So by FRA through the Ministry of Agriculture mupose kwa mano n'okupera abantu beso indalama shabo esho bapera mataba kuli imwe so that bengayipekanya n'okonkanyapo ukubomba.
In response, the Food Reserve Agency has acknowledged the delay and urged farmers to exercise patience as the situation is being addressed.
We are currently paying, and the farmers, if you go in some of the locations, not the countrywide, we are paying, but the process of our paying is slightly a bit slow because we are only using one payment method, and that's basically what has seemed. That is what seems to be more or less like the delay. But all in all, I think if you have to find out whether we are paying, we are actually currently paying.
Stakeholders have since called for urgent intervention to ensure farmers receive their dues and remain motivated to continue contributing to national food security. Kalombe Kapambwe, Damo News.
Thank you, Kalombe, for that report, which brings us to the end of our news desk this evening. So glad you could join us and be a part of it. My name is Tapo Ngoma, and as always, it's always a pleasure bringing you these stories. Do join us next time for more stories that are leading tomorrow. Have a good night.